Sure, but
Okay.
T-Mobile does, in order to fill gaps in coverage, T-Mobile needs to find places where there are gaps. For them, this was a gap in coverage.
So what's the alternative?
No, that's.
Is there not another site that's not near homes that they could put this up that would still
Right
be
now-
just as effective?
Let me just explain something. T-Mobile doesn't, they're a business. They don't want to spend money on sites they don't need. They have to spend hundreds of thousands, exactly. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a site. They're not just gonna build a site
So it's yes or no, are there alternative proposals? It's yes or no?
in this area.
Yes.
Has there been an option B
On this one, no.
on this one?
We
There
went
needs
to
to
other
be.
buildings in the area. There was one building across the street from Roosevelt. It's like a 4 or 5 story building.
And how much would that cost?
Yeah, and no, it was in foreclosure a year ago. It has a new landlord. They were not interested in leasing.
Why weren't?
What about the
It's got nothing to do with our safety. They weren't interested in leasing.
shopping center?
Okay, Tim, hold on. Next question. Can we,
Why not
let's
government?
get to, where are we? Number 4.
We live a
Right
quarter of
here.
a mile from
There you go.
NASA's.
Let's get to
fences.
number 4.
Why not put
Let's
it in there
We're
respect.
actually going on the Goddard Space Station too. There's a monopole there existing about a mile and a half from this site.
We'll put one closer and just keep it away from the
Why do you
houses.
need this then?
So let's do this. Can we get to number 4, please? She's standing, asking a question. Go ahead. Thank you.
Saying cell phone saying that you have a site for a tower. What about alternative sites such as putting small antennas on our existing power facility that emits?
Answer that?
Yeah, I think you're referring to the smaller, what they're called distributed antenna systems that go on top of utility poles. Those are utilized in some areas. The problem is that you need several of them, and they need to be, in order to provide that same amount of coverage that you'll get from what this is called a macro cell or a tower site, which would provide for one particular site a much larger coverage area. So the engineers, when T-Mobile looks at this, they're always trying to optimize their network to try to make sure that calls are getting through and the capacity needs are met. So they can meet those needs today, right now, with another system, such as a small DAS system with several different nodes, or by optimizing or swapping out antennas on their existing towers, they would certainly do so. They can't do
I
that.
don't agree. I think that you're trying to maximize your profit by putting everything in one large tower instead of taking the residents and our children's health into account and maybe spreading it out into smaller items that don't emit as much frequency to the neighborhood.
Well, again,
It's probably alternatives, but you don't want to look at it.
Hey, Kevin, let me, just one point too, and I understand, I'm gonna say this before I get into my point is, I understand there are genuine health concerns, and I encourage and welcome everyone to do your own independent research on that. What I'll say just as a backdrop to that is, when the Telecommunications Act came out in 1996, the federal government studied the health in a lot of detail, and what they said was, because they knew there would be a lot of concerns in small communities and small governments. They said, we've done X number of studies, and they set guidelines with emission levels. And so they said is if you're within those emission levels, it's not an issue, and that they do not then allow a local government to deny an application based upon health concerns, because the federal government has reviewed that and said, within these parameters, it's okay. So I understand people may not agree with it. That's what the
because
level.
of $400 million in the lobbying fees that were paid to the politicians?
All I'm saying is that's what the law is now. We're still going to talk about it, but that's what the law is.
Sean, that's old data.
One second.
Right? That's old data. There are other countries that have the same concerns with more recent data where they shown where they have put cell phone towers that there are increased health risks, including cancer, for their citizens that are in close proximity to those cell phone towers. So I respect the fact that you said that, yes, you're working within the confines of what the laws were 30 years ago, but that does not speak well to me today when we know that in other countries who are more progressive than we are, okay, and getting that information and us relying on that information to make sound decisions.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to number
5.
5? Number 5.
I can't remember, it might have been me.
Go ahead.
Alright, well, I guess I just was gonna ask what this gentleman asked, but without being all angry about it. Well, would you guys live near a cell phone tower, all of you?
Do they live in Greenbelt?
Would you, no, would you? If you would just found out all of a sudden like we did, hey, there's gonna be a cell phone tower behind my house, would you all wanna live there?
I do, actually.
And do you own your home?
I do. I live in Cheverly, which is kind of a similar community to Greenbelt, actually, not too far away. And you know, you've seen PG Hospital. Well, it is. It's a small community.
And how close is the tower?
About 300 feet.
Where?
Okay.
PG Hospital. PG Hospital.
It's actually
All right. Okay, that's one person. That's one person. We have how many other people up here?
Where's the cell phone tower?
You don't-
I work there.
Is it on?
Are you serious?
I am dead
It's
serious.
Chagada. It's right to the south of PG Hospital. I mean, I literally see it every time I walk my dog. I'm not. Why would I lie? I'm telling you the truth. Go look. At
Okay, we have one person. Now the rest, please. I want answers from everybody. Would you live near a cell phone tower?
I happen to have a piece of property which is somewhat elevated, and I would have no qualms about having a tower put on.
Oh, so you're above it? So you're above it? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Above the
no,
cell phone
because the
tower?
property.
Because it radiates downward, just to let you know. So
Well,
That's not true. It actually regulates outward.
does not.
outward and downward within 50 feet, or I'm sorry, I forgot the proximity, but it does. Come on, like stop it. Like don't do that.
Okay, I'm
Don't do
sorry.
that.
Apologies.
And
Don't do
and
that. Anything that's closest to it and down below it has the greatest impact on the radio frequency. Stop
We're
it.
talking about the kids. Let's not forget, we're talking
Okay, so
about.
can we get to, one second, can we get to number 6? The young lady, please say this.
How will this affect children? The cell phone towers affect the children?
How does it affect the children?
And pets.
And pets, because you
And the
know,
environment.
some kids
Thank
who
you for
have
your
cancer can have,
That's a
the
great.
radiation can help affect it more, like it cause more cancer and stuff. Because we play outside all the time, like we love to play outside, and the radiation might affect us. Some kids might have low, like the brain problems, and they can lower effect and stuff. Like we like to play outside nonstop, so I'm wondering if this would hurt us.
Thank you for the question.
Okay.
Please answer that.
I think this would be a great time, if I can, because that really gets to the nub, I think, of what a lot of people are concerned about here. And I understand that you're concerned that I work for T-Mobile, so therefore you might want to, you're looking at what I'm saying in a different light. But if I could, I'd like to offer up, and this is just 4, what I think are pretty good summaries of this entire issue, done by third-party, not telecom-funded organizations.
When?
And I'd like to just offer those up to you so you can make your own decision and take a look.
Can you give us the dates of the studies?
I'll have them right here. I can give them to you right now. The first one is from the American Cancer Society. It's called Cellular Phone Towers.
That hasn't been updated
What
since the
date?
No, excuse me, it was updated May 30th, 2016.
Can you make copies?
Yes.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Is
And
there
I certainly make a link for you.
Make the link available.
What is the title of the site?
It's called
We've seen
Cellular
that.
Phone Towers.
That's
from the
online.
American
It's
Cancer Society.
as simple as everyone's
Okay.
seen that site.
We'll post these on the website.
And we will
okay?
post these for you, because again, I think it's important to,
Wait, 1 second. Please finish.
Can we at
Please
least
finish.
get one copy here tonight so that if it slips anyone's mind, we can actually
I
have
don't
a
think
copy?
that, I don't think,
The FCC
I don't think
site,
the
I
church's
think,
office is
It's on-
open tonight, but we would definitely put it on the website for you.
The
And
link.
afterwards, we will exchange cards so that we can follow up with you.
Thank you.
What website is that?
this is from the
What website?
www.cancer.org. Anyone who's interested, I have business cards here. Give me your name if I can give you your specific link to that, or I will leave this copy up here after the meeting for people to look at, and they can write them down.
And all the studies are just 30-minute exposures. It's not even
That's not even a
constant.
It's a
Right
web
here.
page right there on the campus.
www.
Proper cancer.
The website is www.roosevelthswireless.com. www.roosevelthswireless.com.
That's a T-Mobile site.
We continue, please, and we got to go to. Then we have to go to number 7. Are you done with that?
Well, I
Well, children, the effect on children.
Go ahead. Yeah, he's going to finish that question now.
Your web pages that you're posting.
Yes, as I mentioned. I'm sorry, I'll answer your question. Go ahead, just so I can.
Also the studies of the property value.
Property
Yes,
values? Okay,
property
that's-
value, okay.
we'll note
Yes.
that.
But that is not addressed at all in the
Thank you.
website.
Absolutely. As we have the answer to the young lady's question, and then we'll go to the next question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what did it say in your report?
Yes.
Yeah, what did it
Okay,
say?
there are several other references. The bottom line is that to date, there's no conclusive evidence that this type of radiation creates a.
Once upon a time, there was no conclusive evidence that cigarettes harmed you.
I have to stop this. Right.
But
In order for him, there was a question answered by the young lady. Please let him finish, and then if there are follow-up questions, I think we should be respectful and let him answer the question of the young lady. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just add, here, there's a couple other references to your specific question. The National Cancer Institute, which is a division of the National Institutes of Health, they have a fact sheet, okay? It's entitled, excuse me, Electromagnetic Fields in Cancer. And one of the findings summarized, and this is why I find it useful for people, thank you, to, I think, to look at these summary fact sheets and analyses that pull together a lot of information from a lot of different studies. So I'll just read from page 6 of this particular one, and I'll leave this here with you.
That's electromagnet? Is that the electromagnet when you're talking about?
Yes, this is entitled Electromagnetic Fields in Cancer, National Institutes of Health, National Cancer Institute. Exposure to cell phone base stations. Few studies have examined cancer risk in children living close to cell phone base stations or radio or television transmitters. None of the studies that estimated exposures on an individual level found an increased risk of pediatric tumors. Okay, now if I go to another site, and this is another report which I will leave with you. This was actually done by the, as a summary evaluation by the British Columbia.
Excuse me, sir. So did you understand that answer? He basically, please just explain, make it clear to her that what the report is saying. Absolutely, absolutely. Just make it a little plain to her.
The type of energy that comes off of these towers that are very high in the air are not going to have the kinds of long-term adverse impacts. There's been no.
One second. You may not agree, but what he is doing, he was asked a question, and he responded to the young lady.
That there is no increased risk does not mean you're not at risk.
Yes, please, absolutely.
Seriously. It's gonna happen to us from your answer, not from the research, from your answer.
They don't know, honey. They don't know, and they don't care.
The operative word is pediatric. So that means they're only following certain kids until they reach a certain age. And then in their 20s, 30s, or whatever, they stop following these cases.
Okay, so we now we have to go to
Number 7.
Number 7. Number 7, please, right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Earlier in your presentation, when Jay asked about other sites and mentioned, she mentioned someone, Greenbelt Middle School and Turning Point, you said, quote, "This is the only one proceeding forward." To me, that almost says it's a fait accompli. When you said
there are 72 sites in Prince George's County, which can be developed at any time.
I understand, yeah. But you said this is the only one proceeding forward. In my mind, that means it's a done deal.
Well,
is that the case? Is it a done deal?
Well, as the mayor-
If so, why are we here?
So, as the mayor said, and I think it was somebody in the audience said it well earlier, it might have been Ms. Dede, the school system, the school board, and Milestone reached an agreement around 2011. That agreement, which they have with other school systems, and which other companies have across the country, said, here's the school properties that you could potentially use. If a wireless carrier has a need and comes to Milestone and says, can we go here? Then you start this school process, which we're going through here. So the mayor had heard.
Mayor Pro Tem.
And former mayor, is that right?
Former.
Okay,
Former mayor.
So the mayor had heard that there were others that were proceeding now. And what I was trying to say is, at this point, there are none that are proceeding from Milestone. Are those potential? All, as she said, all 72 are potential, but who knows how many will be developed over time.
So I have a follow-up question to that.
Sure, please.
The contract was signed with Prince George's County Public School Board in 2011.
Around that time, yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was a 5-year contract?
Yes, and then it was renewed.
Yes, okay. And
I wasn't
then
involved in the contract, so I'm not
okay,
certain.
and then in 2016, it has been re-signed for another 5 years to 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the current school board approved
Yes.
that.
No,
No,
I
no,
don't, we
no,
don't
no,
know
they
if they
did not.
did, it may have been a designee. Do you guys know who signed that, re-up? Because I didn't see a school board vote, so I think it was someone who was the designee
We
that
can,
nobody
we
knows
will,
about.
we can get that
I'd like
information
to
back
know
to you.
that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and one other question,
Sure.
if you'll permit me.
Sure.
In your website, you mentioned that the property, the cell tower is protected by a chain link fence that is 8 feet high. Is that, I believe that's what I read.
That's actually not Prince George's County, I believe it's
It's
a board-on-board fence.
And you're,
But a fence, yes.
yes, I yesterday went to Benjamin Tasker High School
Mhm.
and looked at the cell phone tower that is there. It is a board-on-board fence that is barely, I'm 5'5", and it's not even 6 feet tall.
What?
And it borders a playground. And I thought to myself, this is not good, this is not safe. Kids could get over that fence very easily.
Yes.
So part of what you're saying on your website is inaccurate to what I saw and photographed yesterday.
But what's proposed on this site is an 8-foot-high board-on-board fence per PG County's zoning ordinance, and that's what will be built here. I don't know I can't speak to that site, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Tasker is not 8 feet high.
Okay, all right, good. You were number 7, right? Number 8. Who was number 8?
I had something to say here.
Mayor,
Mike.
please, absolutely.
So I don't want to talk about the health side of things quite so much. I want to talk about this process, and that's what's really bothering me. So far, Mr. Green, you contacted me by email several months ago. I offered you 2 or 3 dates when we could sit and talk. You never followed up with me. So, I mean, this whole meeting, we're hearing from you, we're hearing from a lawyer and another fellow, and I haven't heard a word really from you folks from Milestone. And she was just asking about if you could really tell her what this would mean, for the students, for the people to play outside all the time. And that's what really gets me about this process. I'm looking around the room, and it's not just the 410 postcards just sent out. I saw that map, and I saw where there are dots, and I saw where there weren't dots. But I don't think that you have met the requirement of providing notice. I'm looking at there are 2 representatives of homeowners associations sitting right here. They did not get notice. And the school, the health thing, I mean, it's really, really important. But for those of us, and I have to admit, I live right there.
Sure.
Those of us who live in the area, we have to deal with looking at it and the radiation 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So what I really wanted to ask, since you have to file a notice, you have to file an application, I don't think you've really met the notice requirement at all. And it just really bothers me that we're sitting here in Lanham when, Greenbrier could have easily hosted you right there over school. I mean, there's a number of different choices. So, but it's my understanding with this process, you have to have at least 30 days after you file notice.
After you
So
send out the
you've not-
letter.
You've not filed an application. But I'm really disturbed, I haven't heard a word from you folks from Milestone. You've got your lobbyist talking to us.
I will speak. My name is Kristen Stelzer. I'm the Director of Development. I do tend to outsource our conversations because
Can you speak up, please?
I am incredibly introverted, and this is like causing some heart palpitations. So excuse me if I talk too fast or my voice drops down. So we did reach out early, but then, and I think this might have been some series of miscommunications. And as in a lot of things, there's the good story and then the real story, which is much more mundane. We had originally approached the principal about an alternate location. Generally on high schools, we like to do light pole replacements. There don't happen to be any light poles at this stadium. But we were thinking that either if in the future there were light poles.
Can you come to the middle of the room, maybe down the middle?
That if in the future there were light poles, that maybe if we had sited it over by the fields, that would make more sense. Because as you can see from some of our examples, that's what we do on a lot of our high schools.
Yeah, and the community, we
Right.
want to be a part of that
Right.
dialogue,
Yeah, and so, if you don't
for
mind.
that decision.
Right, so,
We need to be a part of that.
so we had originally talked to the principal about that. That's the first step, because if we can't find a suitable location on school, there's no point in bringing out the community, because it doesn't move any further. So we found a location that we thought worked. We drafted up a plan. It seemed to have a lot of disturbance on it. That was one of the things that the principal was concerned about, was the amount of land disturbance. So we went back and looked at potential other locations, and all of this takes quite a bit of time. And so we came up with this location, what we're currently proposing. And then, again, until we got the notice to proceed, it really didn't make sense to present. We then wanted to have photo sims, and so then it's just a timing thing. As far as this meeting, we looked at some other dates that seemed to have city events on them. We looked at the school schedule. We didn't want to schedule it during AP exams. This was the day that we were able to get the team that we needed to be here. It's just it is unfortunate that it's the night of the school board, but it was not.
And if I can pause there, Mayor, when I contacted you several months ago, this was way before this time. During this time, I contacted the clerk, and we were going back and forth, and dates didn't work out, but we were going back and forth. We had several communications, both by phone, to get a date.
Just still waiting for a date.
Can I finish? Yeah, and for the city council and yourself. We can still do, and we can do that.
Tonight's meeting could have been held in Greenbelt at the city council, because there's no meeting in the city council on a Tuesday night. So looking all over for 2 miles away, you could have had the meeting tonight.
We could have. We could have.
And you all are wrong.
We did not
have the nerve to do it in a church.
We did not make that decision. I don't know if we knew if it was open for us. Probably communication could have been better there, but and lesson learned.
And Eleanor Roosevelt High School was also available this afternoon.
Yeah.
It can't continue to be less than.
Ma'am, please.
Next question. Next question.
We'll go to number. We're gonna go to number 8.
I'm at number 8.
You're at number 8.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
number 8.
Let's go to number 8. There we go. We're gonna go to number 8, please. We're gonna go to number 8, please. Good number 8. Thank you.
So I would like to first
Number 8.
introduce myself. My name is Dasan Bobo. Sorry for being so furious tonight, but because of the issue, it causes a great stress.
Sure.
I live right next to the tower, a few feet. I've lived there for 22 years. I recently bought the home from my mother 2 years ago because I love the town I live in. Even the name Greenbelt sort of brings a holistic, natural. It's a green town. It's a historic green town, as a matter of fact. As you all may know, this tower does not represent our town, what our town stands for, our progressive views that we have in our city. Sorry, our community, I should say too. You had a lot of options of places to put this tower. You chose our backyards as opposed to either at a shopping center or by the highway, or even if you were going to do the high school, at least the furthest point from residential areas as possible. It's zoned to be residential for a reason. They wouldn't put an industrial park right next to us and zone it that way. For me, this is industry. This is emitting radiation. As a pollution, it's a pollutant. And that's what industry emits. And to put an industry building facility in a residential area on a school zone is just wrong. And I really wish you guys would kind of turn the lights on over there and come into light, shine some light over there. And I'm not sure why you guys are still in the dark. A lot of the information you were presenting, I think, is factually wrong, and you guys know it. People have Wi-Fi in their houses. They don't need a cell phone signal in their basement. They have Wi-Fi. It's technology. As many of us said, our signals, we don't have problems with getting reception.
Some people don't have Wi-Fi, though. You know that. Some communities don't. But go ahead. No, you know what?
People often pay on a data plan, and they don't want to use. Yeah.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Want to say some
okay.
people don't have one.
So you know, I think a lot of your information you guys need to rethink, and if you're basing your decision on that information, you need to actually get the facts straight and then base your information on that. You know, I strongly believe that 9 out of 10 of you all would not have a cell phone tower near your house. Or, you know, maybe you live a half a mile, I don't know the distance, but you certainly wouldn't live within 500 feet of a cell phone tower. And yeah, and another thing, you guys said you sent notices. Many of us didn't receive notices.
Got a notice.
I didn't get notices.
No notices?
I got an email
Pepco did some work in our neighborhood and put stuff on our doors, even though it was after they started, but they put door hangers to inform us that they were doing construction in our neighborhood. I think it's a courtesy that you all do the same, but you also all should not have made the decision without consulting the community. And you know, even though you guys think you're going to go ahead with this, I strongly urge you to rethink what you plan to do here. Because there's going to be a huge opposition to what you're going to do. And I think people here came not because they support it or are interested in to learn more, because the site certainly provides that, but because they oppose what you all are doing in our community. And, you know, just how you guys plan to do this on a school board meeting day, you know, you guys, everything you guys do is to sort of just pop up a tower in our backyard without nobody knowing, without any opposition, without the news knowing, or the community knowing, or, you know, the parents knowing at the school. And, you know, I think you guys chose the wrong schools and certainly the wrong neighborhood. And you guys, I strongly urge you to rethink your plans going forward.
Thank you. Number 9. Number
Not gonna answer that.
You said you were going to answer all of our questions.
So who are you? How do you represent Milestone?
Hopefully you'll believe me. Here's my answer. So, as this gentleman knows, obviously, all contributions are public information. So you can go check out. I don't know how much is donated.
Not everyone has access to it. Remember, he said not everyone has
Well, I don't have that information.
And that's there's so many other ways to pay off people.
I said contributions or other favors.
I'm trying to answer. Number 2, what was the second point? What was your second point, sir?
That was the point.
It wasn't answered though. Not everyone has Wi-Fi to go on.
Oh, the sweetheart deal. So it's a public deal. It's out there. Milestone is publicly stated many times, and you can look at the deal they have with Anne Arundel County, with Frederick County. It's the same deal every time.
And what is the deal?
I'll give it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So Milestone gives 40% of what they get from their leasing to the school system. There also is some contributions that come in when the first provider goes on it. I think they give $25,000.
Yes.
And then I think when each additional one comes on, it's $5,000, something like that. So that's the deal, and that's the deal they have in other jurisdictions.
A footnote, the money that they do get, the school system gets, it does not go back to the school.
No, it
goes
does not.
to the general fund.
It goes into the one pot.
Okay, it goes to the general fund, which means that it can be used out anywhere. It does not go back to the school.
Okay, all right, number is number 10? Just a response, please.
Yes, if I could just quickly respond to that. I didn't mean to leave the impression with your daughter that this is I think the phrase you used was proven safe. I said there is no evidence, conclusive evidence at this point that there is that impact to children. Now, with regard to, if you want specific studies, and that's the thing, there have been hundreds of thousands of studies done. I tend to want to look at who is disinterested and who really wants to look at pulling all of those studies together, weighing the good and the bad of all of those studies, and then publishing that data. That's what these 4 references do. And I urge you to look at them, because I think you'll find that that there are many circumstances that go against
Actually,
the study.
industry funded
Okay, one
studies
second.
show not a problem, and independent studies show a problem.
Okay, thank you. Number?
Number 10. Be patient, because I
Yes.
what I have.
Yes, you.
Okay,
Oh, you're
so-
number 10. Number 10 and then right here. Yes, go ahead.
This is
community voicing their concerns. You have not directed the tower. Why wouldn't you postpone it and look at some alternate locations since we're pleading with you? Please don't put this near our kids. We don't want it in our communities. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you take another 6 months and look at some alternate locations?
For existing towers.
Yeah, or just some alternatives for us. We don't want this.
What I will say is that we are here to talk to you about the site that is proposed.
So there's
Okay?
no.
The site that is proposed, right? That's what
Do you not
we
hear
are
our
here for.
concerns?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, do you agree?
Absolutely.
That it is a
What we
real
are doing,
concern.
what we are doing is we're having an exchange tonight. That's what we're doing.
But do you not agree?
Listen, hear me what I'm saying. We're talking about an exchange. If you are telling us your feelings. We're telling you what we're trying to do, right? So this is the first time I think that we have had this exchange between the two communities. So therefore, what we're going to do is we're going to look at all the things and we're going to assess all the things that have been talked about tonight. Is anyone taking notes? Oh, absolutely.
How many people oppose the tower?
So one second. This is not, one second, let me say this to you. No,
We oppose genetic damage, we oppose radiation,
Let me just
we oppose.
You haven't had a question, are you ready?
Light on what I know.
Okay.
So,
But let's her go first though. Let's go first.
So what I know is this. A couple of years ago, they actually had a meeting at Largo High School to put the tower on Largo High School. Parents from Anne Arundel County, where Dr. Maxwell was the superintendent, came out and provided data for us that Dr. Maxwell has been doing this and was doing it in Anne Arundel County. They blew it out of the window. The parents got involved, they got active. This same company was putting it on Largo. They were like, why are you putting a tower on Largo? Why are you doing all of these things? This is his agenda. This is what he's doing. It is not just by chance that we finding out they late and $1 short. Okay? So the thing of it that you need to do is you need to get, because they're out of session now, contact your delegates, your senator, your congress people, put it out there with the National Education Association, and I'm telling you right now, you can give me all the data you want from NIH. I just got my blood work done. I'm cancer free from radiation. So you cannot tell me radiation does not cause cancer. I lived with it twice.
Wow. Can you repeat who actually is behind all of this again?
Dr. Maxwell.
And what?
And so he's the one who's putting the contracts out there with this. Even though it's happening in 2010 and 2011, he had a history of it. Those parents came out to Largo High School, brought the data, brought all the information of everything that he was doing. We're trying to get those towers on those schools in Anne Arundel County.
To be factually correct, the original contract was signed in 2011, and the superintendent then was Dr. Bill Height.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I was just going to say
now,
that. Absolutely.
But
Dr. Maxwell was subsequent to that when it was renewed.
But that's an example. But that's an example of sometimes when we don't have all the information. And Dr. Height. It is. One question. 1 second. Next question. Next question.
Stop the tower.
We have one more question.
No, and she said gentleman in the back too.
And the gentleman in the back. This gentleman here. That's right.
And that gentleman.
My name is Nicole Farrow. I'm a part of the administrative team at Roosevelt.
Okay.
Pardon me, I'm trying to get.
I'm upset, so just bear with me. I have 2 questions, and I really need some definitive answers because I feel like they've been asked, and I need some clarity. So this is a proposal. So where exactly are we in the process, and what does it look like moving forward?
Sure. So the process is, the Tower Committee says you have to send out a letter at least 30 days to give notice before you can file your application with the county. So the letter went out at the end of March. We're having this information sharing meeting, and the application can go in anytime after the 30 days. The process from then can be the tower committee, they review applications, they have a consultant that also helps them review it. They then have every month they have a public meeting that they provide a vote for recommendation of whether the application meets the criteria. With that, then there are county entitlement review, permitting, zoning, environmental, as well as state and federal rules that have to be followed. And so once you have all your permits, then you can start construction.
Well, you better. One second.
Because it says
One second.
first class mail.
Second question.
Third class mail. You did not give
Second
accurate
question.
information.
Your point is well taken. Second question. Go ahead. Second question, please.
I guess this is not my second question. This is just a question in response to your response. So what does a typical time frame look like for something like that?
This summer, they're planning on putting it in. They were already digging the lines behind.
They're right
behind.
behind.
I saw it, yes.
Okay. All right, so would you all, this is an open invitation from Eleanor Roosevelt High School for you guys to come to meet with not just the community, but our faculty and staff, who most are not even aware that this is going on, along with our students who are not aware.
They're not
I
allowed to
received
know.
an email this morning in terms of the extent of this process. And again, most of the individuals who work there, who are there every day, who work with the students, they have no idea that this is where we are in the process. So would you guys be willing to schedule a time to come and meet with the faculty, staff, and students of Eleanor Roosevelt High School, where you're proposing this be done?
Yeah.
Within the next 30 days.
No, it has to be.
Let me just provide some more information to this first. So,
Well, within the next 5, it's
What-
if you're gonna put it up,
Are you going to give us proper notice again before you file?
I'm trying to answer her question, sir. Please let me finish. So, first of all, just to clarify some things. So we have met several times with the principal. And we also met with the PTSA representative. And our understanding was the school was going to send out notification to the school community through listserv.
We got nothing.
But the school doesn't have the names and emails of the neighbors?
No.
Teachers are afraid to speak out. They're afraid they're going to be retaliated against by Maxwell.
The principal is not going to do anything because he's part of the Board of Education.
Okay.
He has to remain neutral. That's right.
Okay.
Again,
We will
I'm
take that.
asking, would
We
you
will
guys,
take that.
and would it be possible to get some contact information that we could exchange information so we can set that up?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll give you our information. We have to work, I can't make a commitment to you tonight that we're gonna meet with the students and the principal or the whole system. We have to kind of clear that through the schools as well.
Right.
But we'll give you our information and we can
We can
talk
follow
about
up.
it. Thank you.
Let's be clear, I can definitely work on facilitating the process so that we can expedite this, because this will have a direct
Let's exchange
impact
information.
on the number of teachers who return to Eleanor Roosevelt High School, as well as the number of students who return and or enroll for the first time.
Let's exchange information after this, and we will follow up with you.
But can you
Okay?
answer her question?
And then,
Gentleman in the back.
ma'am, she is. Let me say this. We have
If
to.
the people
We have
don't want
to.
the tower, can we stop it?
We
That's part of the question.
we have to go to. Go to the next question, please. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. You're next. Okay. You here, here, and there, and then.
Yes, absolutely, I have one. Thank you.
All right, she asked what I was gonna ask, but what I wanted to add to that was, I think it's disrespectful that you bring a bunch of people up here that really don't wanna say anything. Bring one guy from T-Mobile with data in the paper that looks like it's 20 years old. It looks like it's 20-year data. Disrespectful to everyone here, that's what I think.
Right here.
Okay, my question is it true that holes are being dug already?
Yes, yes, I saw
Behind my house. Is it
yes.
true that they've started breaking ground
Yes,
to do this work?
yes.
Have done is survey. If there's additional work being done.
Hey,
The survey
is an application
digging
in?
grounds.
Okay.
Is the application in?
Take pictures of these
Is it prepared?
holes
We will. It's right next to me.
Okay. Next. So the answer to your question is no. Only survey. Any other question? Only survey. Yes.
So earlier you said that this is supposed to be an exchange. So My question really is, if this is an exchange, is there any feedback that you guys are receiving from us to go back to your development, R&D, or do whatever, however you determine this, to maybe make some more informed decisions before proceeding? In other words, are you actually here to hear us?
Yes.
Not in good faith.
And is our voice being not only heard by you, but is it going anywhere beyond this room?
Well, one of the things that I had wanted to ask, and it sort of tied into your question about when we meet, is one of the things that we do at these meetings, obviously if you're against the tower and you don't want it regardless of where it is, you know, we're gonna have to agree to disagree about whether that's something that works. But if there's another location on the property that you think is a better location, we've certainly.
We don't want it at all. We don't want it at all.
Well, there are parts of the property that are further away from the residential areas, if that is the concern.
Away from the
Not in our house, that's for sure.
When the school gets redone, then they're gonna have to configure this
So you're,
tower
so,
around
so,
their
so,
rebuilding
in,
it,
in,
just like
in
every
reference to
high
your,
school.
in reference to your question, this is an exchange, right? This is an exchange.
That's what I heard
There
from
is
you.
an
You
exchange,
said
and
this was
so,
an exchange.
it is an exchange, so we're hearing,
Exchange goes
we are
together.
hearing, I mean, I know there are a lot of opinions, I know there's one unified opinion, I'm getting that loud and clear. But we are hearing exactly what you are saying, we are hearing it. We may have to agree to disagree, but we're hearing, we're processing it. We as a team will meet on it and listen to, I mean, we have notes taken, I have notes in this phone.
I'm sorry.
And so what I'm saying,
That's why they hired them.
what I'm saying is that I know that there are different opinions, you know, about this. I get it, and you can say I'm a gifted gab. That's fine. You know, maybe my grandmother probably said the same thing. But the point is that my point is that we are here listening.
Can we have a follow-up meeting about everything we discussed?
Listen, what the issue is that I need to hear your follow-up question so I can clearly understand, because you still have follow-up questions. Go ahead.
So there's basically kind of two things. The other question I had is the decision to do this based on feedback or requests from T-Mobile customers? Or is this just something you guys want to do?
Great question. That's a great question.
And part of that is, I'm an AT&T customer, so no problem with T-Mobile, but AT&T, what they do is if they have a device that people can implement in their homes to boost their cell phone reception, if that's what they desire to do. So, keeping that in mind, I'd like to hear your response on that.
I'll do my best to try to answer you. Basically, what happens is T-Mobile, just like Verizon or AT&T, they see gaps in coverage. They have crazy maps, RF engineers in their office, and they see these gaps in coverage. They see their existing sites. So there's an existing site to the south, which is on a building just past the shopping center. There's like two or three tall buildings there. They're on one of those buildings, okay? They have a significant capacity issue on that, meaning there's so many calls and data coming into that area that they need to find another site within, you know, maybe a mile of that site or closer to fill that gap and to help with that capacity. They're doing this proactively, trying to help their customer base. And I said this earlier, T-Mobile's not, you know, they don't want to build a site just to build a site. They're not doing it for fun. They cost them a lot of money to do. They're trying to be a good business. Yeah, they do make money, but they're spending a lot of money to get this site on. Wait, can I finish? I barely talk today, so let me just try to talk. So they're spending money to try to help their customers, to try to get better service proactively, as opposed to retroactively when all of a sudden in a year everyone has dropped calls. T-Mobile has a big customer base, and they're continuing to get bigger, as you can see, all the commercials on television. Maybe not if you can help it, you know. But the bottom line is, they look for a site. They go to Milestone. They say, you know, do you have a lease agreement? You happen to have a lease agreement with the county school here, okay? Milestone proposes a site, we're here tonight to talk about it, okay?
And just-
This site would allow other carriers to go on it too, AT&T when they see the need, and they will, as well as Verizon, and they will. So, you know, I know I've heard a lot of things where we don't want all these carriers here, but, you know, you have AT&T, maybe someone over here has Verizon. This will allow all the carriers to get on one mainframe place and kind of help the community.
Well, like I told
It's not helping.
Verizon when
It's
Sean,
not helping.
like
I guarantee you it's not helping the
Sean came to
community.
Kankakee
It's hurting the community.
I
Yeah,
was
I
with Verizon. I'm no longer with Verizon. I'm with T-Mobile. Watch how fast y'all lose business because of this mess.
Stand up, you're not number 17, go ahead.
Considering that the community is opposed, as you can deduce, taking into consideration the fact that they say do unto others as you wish it be done unto you. Granted that all of us here don't want it, you are putting it in our community. Can you now change your profit motive such that you do not place this tower behind where you are trying to place it?
Like we said, that will be a decision. We may have to agree to disagree. We're gonna go back.
No, we're not going to agree to disagree.
We're gonna go back. I'm gonna answer your question. Sure. You have a follow-up question? Go ahead, follow up.
There was a similar situation in Bethesda.
Exactly.
There was a similar situation in Bethesda. The community protested. And it worked.
Sean,
And they didn't build it there. Are you therefore saying that black lives don't matter to you because you're putting it on the minority?
I'll have vices.
Yes, because it's predominantly the pictures you showed us of children here for Roosevelt and other children and minorities. Are you therefore saying they don't matter to you?
Right, do we not matter? Milestone, I will say this. Milestone has towers all around the region. They have towers in communities that are minority communities, and they have towers in
Just in minority communities.
No, that's not true.
Mostly.
That's not true.
Majority.
That's
It is true. It is true. You take advantage of minority communities.
What I will do is, sir, let's exchange information. Let's exchange information, and if you need to know where we do cell tower building around the region, you can assess yourself, and I'll share with my information. I'll get you the information.
This is Montgomery County. Cell towers are on high minority schools. This is the red schools are the high. No, it's not Milestone. I'm just showing you what's going on, and let me tell you why. Because in Montgomery County, every school has a process by which, if the community says we don't want it, then they don't put it on. But here in Prince George's County, what do we have? We have a situation where everyone's telling you they don't want the tower, and you're saying we can agree to disagree. I'm sorry, I can't believe you're saying that.
Yeah, that's our backyard.
I mean, come on.
We disagree.
This is not fair. This is not right. All of Prince George's County is a cell tower site. All the schools.
Of course, that's why we are all here.
Excellent.
So just a little bit of feedback to that direct question. And then I think we're just gonna take a few more public questions. We'll close the meeting out, and we'll stay a few more minutes.
We'll stay.
But so, I grew up in Montgomery County. I grew up in Silver Springs, so I know Montgomery County pretty well. Milestone doesn't have a program there. The school system doesn't have one provider. They have sites that are at many high schools. And it's not correct to say there aren't any. So Sherwood High School, considered a pretty affluent area. That was the first one that went up around, can I talk? Thank you. It went up around 2000. Okay, Springbrook High School, considered pretty affluent area. That school has had a setup for a long time. Can I please finish, Ms. Scarrato? Thank you. Bullis High School is a private school in Potomac. That school is considered a very affluent school. That has a cell tower on it. St. John's College, which is a high school in D.C., very nice, very expensive school. That has a cell tower on it. Langley High School in Fairfax County, very affluent area. That has a cell tower on it. Fairfax County has many schools with it that Milestone has built on. So these cell sites are all over the country.
That's right.
Well, why do you pick schools
properties
versus other properties?
Fair question. I tried to explain a little bit earlier. So
Sweetheart deals, that's why.
Can I answer the gentleman's question?
That's untrue, but go ahead.
It is true.
It's not
It
true.
is very true.
It's not.
Very true.
Not true.
Corruption at its best.
It's not true.
It is very true.
It's not true at all.
It's very
And
true.
I invite all of you. I invite all of you to look. It's public record. Let me. And I'll say this. Let me finish.
You're telling me there's no way to go behind.
What I will say is this. What I will say is this. Political donations are public record.
Right.
Look them up.
And there's not many other ways to buy people.
I'm sure
There's
you.
not many other
I'm
ways
sure
to
you
buy
will.
people.
I'm sure you will.
There's not many other ways to buy people.
I'm sure you will.
How much money would you charge for shopping center?
From the county.
But I don't
Not true.
That is true. I saw the video when the Prince George's County School Board made the decision to vote on this without literal input from the community.
No input from the
No input. That is true. Stop it. It is true.
Because
I saw the video. Stop it. Talk to Sonia Williams. Talk to your other delegates. They're in disagreement with this. They don't want it. They don't want it.
I'm gonna answer this gentleman's question, then we're gonna close
No,
out.
I have a question.
Then we're gonna close out.
I was
Then we're gonna close out the official meeting.
No, you can't close out till questions are up. You said that at the beginning. I can rewind the tape. You said you're gonna answer everybody's questions at the beginning. You said that.
Oh yeah, you did. She is the last question, and that's it.
I would ask everyone.
No, that's not it. He said everybody can ask
We have
all
a
the
time
questions.
for the hearing.
No, we also have a time.
We have a time limit for the
That's the last
We have a time
question.
limit for
You hear me?
it. And we can, and we'll stay a little after to answer
Can we
more
please
questions.
be civil?
Who's the person we can speak with?
Can we
I'm
be-
sure they'll be
no,
happy to
No,
let us have a little more time.
Can we be civil?
Don't
Can you be
insult
civil?
me. I'm highly upset.
Can we be
So
civil
don't-
here?
No. There's no civility
Let her
here.
speak.
You have told, he promised me I'll get a question.
You're
and
the-
then
you're the last
telling me-
question.
And he
thank
said
you.
you're
So
gonna
don't
answer
tell me
everybody's
that you're not
questions.
gonna
She's
answer
the last
my
one.
We're
She's
not,
the last
leave
question.
here.
sir,
So you've
we're
answered
not
everybody's
staying all
questions.
night, okay?
Sure,
Yeah, you can.
you're the last question. Right here. Your last question. Finish.
Here's the
The last
Be
question.
many sleepless nights for us. There's gonna be sleepless nights for you.
Hold on a second.
I guarantee.
It's not one question, it's three. My first question is this. When did you guys send out the notices?
As soon as possible.
March 31, I got
no.
the date.
They're supposed to be
When
sent
did you
first
send-
class mail,
Hold on, when
lawyers.
did you send out the notices?
When did we send the notices?
Okay.
March
Why do you
31.
think-
Not junk
excuse me,
mail, so you gotta do it again.
When was the notice?
Objection noted.
I need a date.
March 31st.
March 31st. Are you answering my questions on
Yes.
this? Okay. then
Well, I mean, depending on.
So they were sent out March 31st. What do they look like? Do you have an example with
The
it here?
required notices were in the form.
we put the letter on the
No,
website?
no, we did two separate types. We did.
You did
the-
two separate types.
Yes, so there's the required notice, the 410 that we talked about, and those were in the form of a letter.
I need to see what they look like.
And then the expanded
What does the
notification.
envelope look like?
A regular envelope. So how about if we put,
Is it possible that it could look at something that's junk mail?
Well, that's the unfortunate
So
part.
perhaps you should have
is-
done your due diligence, knowing very well, this is very important information. Perhaps you should have done it so anyone who received that information was very clear on what they were receiving. Right? Okay, because if you have money and you want
You
to
should
get this
post
done, you should have done
notifications.
that.
You should
Number
do
What's
door
your third-
hangers
what's your third
on all the
question?
My
neighborhood.
third
What's your third
My
question?
third question is, what proof of receipt did you guys have that people received it?
what we did, the county, and
What-
the gentleman who's been yelling, who I think left. So it says you can send first class, or you can send it by certificate of mail if you want to read the
No,
law.
no, that's not what
No,
it says. I read it
yeah,
10 times.
Read
It
the law.
says-
You might have read the
it says
instructions.
first
Read the law,
class
sir. It says you
with a
can send.
certificate of mailing.
Right, and that's what we did, a certificate of mailing, where the post office stamps them, and we have a copy of them stamping a
Alright.
document.
Show the copy of one that was sent to my house.
Received it.
Why do you send out something that looks like
If he had not knocked
junk
on my
mail
door
to
on
people?
Saturday evening while I was cleaning my kitchen, I probably
Well,
would not
I
have
am glad
received
you're
it.
here, though. We're
I'm
glad that
certainly
notice
happy,
got
No,
around.
Because it means that you dropped
Word
the
of
ball.
mouth.
Well, that's
If
what,
he had not knocked on my
certificate of
door,
mailings for
we
junk.
would not have known.
We sent out notices, or how many? Over
I
we
didn't
sent
get
out
it.
almost
over
3,000.
3,000.
We never got it. We've
And
been
so
here for
we
23
got
years.
that
We
point.
never got it.
We got that
Okay.
point. We got that
We
point.
need to wrap.
All right.
And would there be a public hearing? I know
So
this was a briefing. Would there be a public hearing?
The process does not require a public hearing.
That's not what
There's a
you
public-
Would you
public
have
meeting.
the honor to do that for the people who
There's a-
seems to
There's a
still
public
have
meeting
questions
through the
on
tower
this?
committee.
okay, one last question. One last.
To HOAs, condo associations, don't let it die here. Your action item is to go home, send it to your Facebook, put it on social media. Use social media once for a positive. Contact your HOA, contact your homeowners, your condo association, set up community meetings. Call your political officials and let them know that you are against this. Blow it up on your social media, blow up T-Mobile social media website, and say no to this.
Blow up the school board.
Blow up the school board.
One last question.
Contact
Right
Michelle
here.
Lawson
Please
and
stand.
TTFC.
Please stand. One last question right here. One last question right here, and then you all can.
It may sound repetitive to you, but I just want to show how bad your communication has been with the community.
Mhm.
I live meters away from the place you chose to build that tower,
Mhm.
and I didn't get any notice like a couple of days ago, and I can't believe it. This is crazy.
It's a trend.
And also, yes, it's crazy. I can't believe that nobody close to them got the notification. It seems like you're trying to hide information from us.
Well, they're masking.
You are
If they're
doing
masking you,
everything
you
in
think
the
it's junk mail.
shadows.
Of course, they don't want you to read
And
it.
second, why now? Why the meeting right now? You have been planning this for so long. Why
Because
didn't
they've
we
done
know?
their part.
I saw people, measuring my property without asking for my permission.
Exactly behind my
so
house.
what's going on? That was crazy. I just know, like a couple of days ago, as I said, that you were trying to do this, and you seem that you don't like to hear us. We don't like this tower, and I don't want it behind my backyard because it's gonna be very close to my house, and
Okay.
I don't want it.
Thank you. So what we're gonna do now is we have to close up because time is basically up. We will stay a few minutes after. If anybody wants to share, if anybody wants to exchange numbers or emails, so we can follow up with you regarding any questions or next steps that you have. Thank you all for
Please, why
coming.
don't you all leave, let us caucus since we're here in the group. Let us
We don't,
caucus.
we can't do that. We can't do that.
Be
Not-
sure
not
you put your
necessary.
name on the board that's going around so we can have an
Does everyone
organized
sign this?
listserv so we can communicate.
Yes.
And we can send you this.